So what's going on? You're in Arizona right now. Must be a nice change of weather to what you're used to back home, right?
Definitely, it's lovely over here. To be honest with you,
So what's that week look like? Take me into like when you guys got over there, why you're there, and just what that week looks like.
well, we're in Arizona because we play the Chargers on Sunday, and we we're a team on the East Coast, and we played Miami. So I think it was better for us to go ahead fly um, across the country to the West Coast so we can get acclimated to the time and whatnot. I think that was the whole thing. The coaches wanted us. That's why they wanted us to come out here a week early so we can get acclimated to the time change and whatnot. But we're in Arizona because I think their taxes are better than staying in California for a whole week. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. So yeah, it's definitely that's one of the reasons why.
That's legit. Is it like you get your game check and that comes without tax for that week because you're in AZ?
Well, we get taxed like during the week, I presume, because I'm assuming we would get taxed by Arizona because we practice this whole week over here, versus Cali where taxes there, whatever their tax is if we practice over there. But I'm not sure how that affects the game check. I know the game check is still going to be taxed by California because we play them on Sunday, so that's not going to really change too much. But they won't hit us twice. I think we'll get hit by Arizona and then we'll get hit by Cali.
Yeah, so not as bad. A little more money in the pocket.
Yeah, a little bit more. I'm appreciative of all of it.
Hey man, that sounds good. We just got to get you down to Texas or Florida, man. You'd be tight.
Texas or Florida would be nice, They know state income taxes. Always lovely to see.
100%. So James, I know you grew up in Alabama, and that is somewhere that is of great significance to. I had a look, Pleasant Grove, Alabama. 10,000 people live there, so it's a pretty small place, right? What does that mean to you, that place?
Well, that's home for me. That's where my heart is. That's where I spent majority of my childhood and my teenage years and some of my adult years there. So I mean, it's home for me. It'll always be home. And I'm pretty familiar with the area because, like you said, it's a small area, and I'm familiar with a lot of the people that are around there. So it'll always be home for me.
And you go back there every off season, is that right?
Yeah, I always go back there. My mom is still there, and my sister is there as well. So my family is there, so I always go back.
And you put a fair bit of effort and money back into the community. Why?
Because that's what my heart is. I care for the city. I care for the people around there. I know, their lifestyle. How they go through everyday life. Some of the struggles they may go through, and of course some of the positive things they go through as well. So that's why I put money back into them.
So with that, James, I mean, it's completely different to being in New York. Obviously, you're in Carolina beforehand and you went away to college. So you've had plenty of life experience, but just what is that like playing in New York? And for someone that doesn't, hugely love the spotlight, what's that been like as a transition for you?
I think it's very different because in the South, I feel like people down there, they really enjoy college football more than they enjoy the National Football League. But up north, I feel like they enjoy the NFL more than they enjoy college sports. Of course, that's aside from maybe Ohio State and Michigan. But I know in New Jersey, man, they're diehard Giants fans, man. They definitely gonna let you know whenever you're doing good and also when you're doing bad. So it's good support up here. We got a strong fan base, and it's a great organization as well. They support us as far as everything: nutrition, health, strength, and conditioning program, and also the coaches.
So being in New York, James, obviously you've had a really successful last couple of years since you arrived. How have you seen your season so far?
This season or both seasons?
This season.
Oh, this season. I think this season has been kind of up and down for me. I've had a lot of good spots. Also had some bad spots. But also, we're not doing too good as a team. So definitely, we're not doing good as a team. like your mistakes are, are blown up, and everyone wants to talk about them, when you're losing. So it's not going too good right now.
But how do you deal with that then? Like, do you care when people are talking about you in a negative way?
I think it's hard to say no, because they talking about my craft. I put a lot of time and effort into playing football and being a good cornerback. So when people say I'm not doing something right, of course, that might affect my emotions, and I might not feel well about that. But I think for me, I try to channel that energy and try to attack, getting better. Attack the next day. The sun's gonna rise. I remember I watch a lot of YouTube videos, so I hear a lot of inspirational videos and stuff. The sun's still gonna rise, so you gotta keep going.
So how does that process work? Do you get mentioned on Twitter, or you get a DM on Instagram and someone's telling you stink or whatever it is, and then you see that and that frustrates you? Like, how do you even hear about the negative stuff going on?
So I don't look up my name on Twitter. So I don't really see what people say on Twitter unless, of course, one of the Giants media says something and it comes across my screen because it was retweeted or whatnot. But usually, we have, like I said, we have a strong fan base. So along goes with that. And it's also New York City. So along goes with that is the media. So the media, they kind of let you know through their questioning and whatnot. But like I said, I just channel that energy and try to get better. And also, I prepare a lot, I try to prepare and put myself in good position.
So with that, obviously your craft is something that's really, really important to you. This may be a really obvious question, but why? It seems like from the conversations I've had, it seems as if it means more to you than most. Is there a particular reason why?
I think it means a lot to everyone that plays football. Like if you, I just speak for the guys that's starting out there. We get paid a lot of money to do this, and I've also been doing this my whole life. Of course, it's a game, but I've been recognized as one of the best in the game, and I got to that point because I feel like I worked hard, I prepared, I put a lot of time into it. So anytime you put a lot of time into anything, of course, that shows that you care about it, and you see it as important as you see it being significant in your life. So that's why I care about it so much.
You got to have a certain confidence to play in the NFL, to play it at the level you do, James. Do you think you're the best cornerback in the NFL? Do you have to have that mindset every time you go out?
I think you have to have the mindset that that no one can beat you. I play corner, but I've never been against another corner. I've always gone against receivers. So I don't really try to promote myself as being the best in the game, like everybody else is going to talk about it if that's what it is. But I just try to build the mindset of, this guy across me can't beat me,
And what's that transition been like? I know you quite often have to go up against big body receivers, and now obviously the last little bit you've been going up against tight ends. How has that been for you adjusting, and what have you found through that?
I think like going against big receivers and then going against tight ends is very similar. But you really got to attack the person and not really the position. Because like Mike Evans, he's a receiver. He's real fast. He has a huge catch radius. Attacks the ball. He's real physical as well. And then you might play another taller guy, but he's not really. He doesn't play like real physical. He's more of a finesse guy. He's like real good off the line. He runs good routes. So you got to attack that guy differently. It's the same way with tight ends. Not all tight ends are the same. They have different skill sets.
So what makes you, James Bradberry, an NFL player? Like what are the little things that you do that make you not just an NFL player, but a really, really high level NFL player?
I think the two most important things are I prepare. I watch a lot of film. And also I try to take care of my body. Because I think half the battle, man, is staying on the field, honestly. Because you see a lot of injuries, across the board. So half the battle is staying on the field. So I say taking care of my body and preparing.
Do you do anything different than anyone else, or anything particularly unique to you to keep yourself that way?
Like I said, I put time into it. I don't think there's not really anything unique about, because I ask a lot of, even when I first got into the league, I used to ask a lot of veteran guys, what did they do to take care of their body? And I didn't really see a difference in a lot of people's answers. I think the difference was the amount of time that they did those things. Like if they did massage, or they did acupuncture, how much during the week did they do it? Or did a guy do it at all during the week? When it came to like lifting weights or stretching, did a guy do that during the week? If he did, I'm sure he feels a lot better doing game day, and he might play better based off those things that he did throughout the week. So I don't think I do anything uniquely. I just spend a lot of time doing certain things that pertain to football.
Hey man, if you don't dedicate yourself to your craft, you're going to fail no matter what you do, right?
For sure.
So we're going to move away from the Giants in a little second, James. But obviously, being such a competitor, how difficult is it when, certainly for the time you've been at the Giants, and well, long before that, you lose quite a bit? What is that like as just a competitor and having to deal with that? Because losing sucks no matter what industry or space you're in.
I just channel that energy and move on to the next play. I think football has kind of built that mindset for me just over the years. I've always played DB, my whole life. So I've always been taught, you got to forget the bad thing that just happened and move on to the next play, because that next play is going to come regardless. So you need to move on. And of course, that comes with having more opportunities too. I would say I've had more opportunities to mess up, but I would say, I just channel that energy to make up for a mistake that I had and not make that same mistake again.
So when you guys lose, how long does that anger, that frustration stay with you? And what do you do to channel that positively or to remove it altogether?
Usually, it depends, on how close the game was, if I played well, if I played bad. It just depends. But typically, I have a daughter now too, and I would say she helps out a lot.
Yeah,
because when I come home, she's happy, she wants to play, so she kind of helps me forget about the bad stuff that goes on with football, from losing and whatnot.
100%.
But usually it's out of my mind by Monday, and of course Wednesday it's a new week. We're on to the next team, so you got to forget about it.
You got to have that quick turnaround. So what is it like, fatherhood, James, for you? How much are you enjoying it, and just what has it taught you as a human being?
I think it's taught me a lot of patience. I have to have patience. Have patience. And then, I guess that type of dad I am. I'm pretty relaxed, pretty chill. I try to play games with her. Of course, she's real small now, so she really can't. She's active, but she can't be too active. So I try to, like in off season, I bought her a little basketball hoop. We were shooting basketball, and she started taking the ball and like throwing it in there. Yeah, so that was really cool. So just teaching her little things is actually, to me, the cool thing about being a dad. Is like passing on certain things to her and teaching her. So
maybe she's got your basketball skills.
Ooh, I hope not. I hope she's better than me.
Oh, I heard you weren't too bad at high school. Or was that wrong?
Well, I would say overall I wasn't a bad basketball player. I just put more effort toward football. So I became kind of a role player in basketball. And we had better players on my team too that did that stuff 24/7. It was real good.
I think it's worked out okay, mate, to be honest for you.
Yeah, I'm in the league, so I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. Hey, James, I know you're quite a charitable person. We've talked a little bit about that already. I saw in a video you did of how you spent your first $1 million that you put $50,000 back into your local church down in Alabama. What is faith? What role does that play in your life? And can you speak to that a little more?
Yeah, I would say I think faith kind of goes hand in hand with hope. it's definitely bad when a person loses hope. So, you never want to lose hope. You always want to keep faith. So I think that's kind of like the tie between me and church and faith. Well, I've always had like connection there. But I've been going to the church my whole life, and they supported me throughout my professional career. And they also supported me, when I was a student as well. So I'm just trying to give back to my church that supported me.
That's awesome, man. I really like that. And so your family life at home, James, when you're a bit younger, I know your mom is someone who was and still is a massive inspiration for you. What was it like growing up? I know you had a pretty maternal household when you were younger. Can you speak to any of those experiences and your mom in general?
Yeah, so I grew up in a single parent household. It was just me and my sister. And then we was real close with my grandmother. So like, man, my whole life, it used to be me, my mom, my sister, and my grandma, no matter where we were at, AAU tournaments, college visits, plays, anything. Was going out to eat almost every Saturday. It was us four. So I grew up in a single parent household. And my mom, she did a thing, she took care of me and my sister on her own, which is, I got my daughter now, so I understand. Well, I don't understand, but I definitely can definitely see how hard it was to raise two kids, on her own. So I definitely commend her, and I'm very appreciative of her. But yeah, that was kind of the makeup of the household,
Was that hard for you?
No, because I played sports a lot. So I was always busy as a kid. So I never really had time to sit back and think about it. And I used to I was at the Boys and Girls Club, so I never really had time to sit around and think about it,
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, James, how do you deal with failure?
Just work harder, learn from it.
You just got to approach it head on. Don't think about it too much.
Yeah, all you can do is learn from it. Once you fail, like you fail, so you might as well just try to learn from it and learn from it and work harder. Whatever you didn't work, so you got to figure something else out.
Definitely. I'm going to hit you with a couple more of these philosophical questions if we can, so see if we can get into the mindset, maybe take a couple of notes from James Bradberry. What makes you great, James? Obviously, you are in some form or another to be where you are in your position. What makes you great?
I think I just managed my time correctly.
You got any tips?
Man, what I've been doing, like during the season, like I'm a very routine guy, and I've noticed that, especially when the off season gets here. I'm like, when I get off routine, like I don't really do what I'm supposed to do, But during the season, when I'm on a routine, like I get up pretty early, I get in there and stretch. So I try to make sure my body is warmed up before I actually go out to practice. And it's cold up there in New York, so you definitely got to make sure your body is good before you go out there. I also try to stretch and take care of my body when I come off the field, and I also watch film. I also try to get enough sleep, and eat right. So I would say, I just try to make good decisions and spend my time correctly, doing things that's going to help me get better.
Absolutely. And we talk about how important sleep is for you, James. I know you got a little bit of a Christmas present coming for some of your guys in the locker room, and in particular the chili pad stuff. Do you want to talk to that a little bit more? Give them maybe a bit of an insight into what they're getting themselves into.
Well, from the reviews that I've seen and heard about, I've heard it's going to give you great. It's going to give you great. Man, I just know you're going to sleep a lot better, once you get this product. And that was the whole thing I wanted to do for like the DBs. I didn't want to get them a gift to where they wouldn't like it or they weren't going to use it, or get them a gift that they were just going to resell to like somebody. So I wanted to get them something that was useful. So I feel like that chili sleep would be useful towards them.
We could all do with a better sleep, right? You can never have too good a sleep, can you?
You can never. You can never.
James, what about yourself are you most proud of?
I guess being a good dad for this past year and a half, I guess.
Nothing
Right
better
now.
you can do. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah. She kind of changed things for me. She changed up the ball game.
In what way?
I mean, like now, like everything is for her. Everything I do.
That's why you play. That's why you get up in the morning, get up in that freezing cold.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it does me better. Like I become a better person and player and whatever because I do those things. But it affects her because whatever I do, essentially, is going to trickle down and affect her. So it's all for her.
That's your why, huh?
Yeah, she's gonna take over. Once I'm up out of here.
Can I read you a quote, James, from your rookie season? I'm interested to get your thoughts on it, if I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this was you talking in your rookie season. I think it was before your first game. You said, if things do go sour, I can always have my mum. She'll still love me. Hopefully it'll go well. I'm going to come out on top. Hopefully.
Oh man, that's funny hearing you read that because I don't really go back and read my quotes or anything or listen to my interviews. But I was kind of being sarcastic, honestly. But it's very truthful too. My mom is gonna love me. My mom does still love me. And she definitely reminds me of that. She's always been my biggest supporter. But I was being very sarcastic too. I was being sarcastic about that, and I was speaking. I guess people might read that and say he's not confident, but like I prepare through that week. I go out there and practice hard. I prepare. That's what gives me my confidence once I get to Sunday. It's not what I'm gonna say. Like anything, I go out there and say I'm the best guy, but you can still go out there and get toasted. So like words don't mean anything. It's all about your actions.
Yeah. So I mean, you might think that, but what's the point in saying that out in the media space and just heaping that on you?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably get more marketing and more money, but I mean, that ain't me for real. So.
Yeah, I was hoping. I feel for you, Rob. Yeah, you gotta see what you can do there. How do you want to be remembered? Hey man, you're getting yourself in trouble now, James.
Hey man, you gotta be yourself. Rob always, he always says I need to be myself. So I'm gonna be myself. I also put myself out there more. That's why I'm on here talking with you, my friend.
You spoken to any Australians before? Am I the first ever?
I believe so. I'm sure I have, but I can't really pinpoint somebody specifically that I really sat down and had a conversation with.
Oh, damn. Anything you want to know? Anything I can teach you?
Nah, man. I just heard y'all got some daily animals over there.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm sure we got daily animals in the US, but I heard y'all got probably on the top 10 list is probably 5 of them from Australia.
I can't confirm that, but yeah, we got a few out here. I know you like travel. You ever going to make your way over here?
You know what? I need to. I have a teammate. Yeah, I need to travel more. Gain more perspective on this earth.
That's it, and you can maybe get eaten by a few animals over here.
Man, hopefully I don't get eaten. Maybe I get bitten or maybe pinched or something, or attacked. But hopefully they don't eat me.
Hey, you're pretty physical, James. I reckon you just jam them up and you'll be sweet.
Man, I'm only physical on the field. Once I get off the field, I try to be relaxed as much as possible, and I try to have no conflict outside of football.
That sounds good, man. Hey, with that travel, what's the best place you've been so far, and talk to me about the different perspectives you've gained from it.
The best places I've been. I mean, I've only been overseas. Well, I've been to London, with football, but I've only been overseas one time to Bahamas, and I was on a resort, so it was kind of Americanized.
Yeah.
But I would say you just gain more perspective from just talking with different people. I think talking to older people. The more I talk to older people, that's where I want to be. Once I get to whatever age they're at, I feel like they give me more of a perspective on life and what I need to be doing.
Do you get that opportunity to talk with any of the older staffers, like some maybe the equipment managers or trainers? I think your trainer's really quite old, isn't he? In New York.
Yeah. I talk to the guys around the building a lot more now versus like when I first got into the league, I was like real secluded into myself. But now, I've been around for a while now, so I wouldn't say I like go out of my way, but I definitely try to speak more and have conversations around the building. Like my equipment manager, Jackie, he was in Carolina with me. So anytime I get down, sit down, and talk with him, or Coach T-Mac, the special teams coordinator for us, he was also in Carolina. So those are two guys that saw me when I first got into the league. So they've seen my growth. So that's why I tend to talk to those guys outside of football a lot more. And I talk to Dave Gettleman as well too every now and then.
So what's Dave like? He's obviously a much spoken about figure in the media. He even makes his way over here in the news, well, somewhat. What is he like? And what would you like to say about Dave that perhaps isn't out there in the media?
I think he's a very resilient guy, just like I don't really, of course, like doing my Explore page, I might see some bad talk about me, but I also see stuff that they might say about him. And I'm sure he like might go out and people talk about him as a GM and whatnot. But I would like to say he's very like resilient, because he always comes in, no matter if we lost or whatnot, or maybe if I had a bad game, he always comes in, he speaks to me. He's energetic. So I would say that about him.
What would he say? What does he say to you in some of those moments where you might have had a tough game?
He would just encourage me to kind of pick it up, It really just encouraged me to pick it up. I would say after he left Carolina, I GM over there, then, well, I would take that back. Well, I would say I saw Dave Gettleman in the locker room or around us as players more than I've seen other GMs that I've been under. And because you don't really see that, and I think that's a positive thing that he does. It's a good thing that he does that.
For sure. And James, with the Giants season, I mean, still somewhat in the playoff balance, if you will. What are you hoping for the rest of the season from your guys and from yourself?
I just hope we continue to play with effort, as a whole. Can't really make any promises. We got 5 games left, but I want to play, my best 5 games this year, this last stretch. And that's my goal.
Is the Pro Bowl in your mind as well?
If we were winning, it would. But my focus right now is just going out there and trying to win. If we're not winning, I'm not gonna get the accolades that I want. That's how I look at it, and that's what I remind myself. So, my whole goal is to go out there and help us win a game. For
sure. Hey, James, I appreciate it. Do you have time for one more question, or you got to run now?
No, I got time.
So I read this, and I need to check it because it really, really interests me. Outer space, does that still interest you? I read a couple of years ago that was something that really interested you.
Man, I'm intrigued by a lot of things now. Man, I'm intrigued by the metaverse. I'm intrigued about outer space. I'm intrigued about countries outside the U.S. I'm intrigued by a lot nowadays.
Damn, we got a lot. We got a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I got to travel a lot more.
Would you travel to space?
Ooh, I wouldn't be the first.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't be in that early bunch. I'll probably be later on after we've had a few successful missions out of there.
Is there anywhere like a planet you'd like to go to? I mean, this is now taking a different turn, but where would you go if you could go?
Man, I'm trying to go to Pluto.
Damn.
So
why?
Go to Pluto.
Why Pluto?
Isn't that the furthest planet?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's
the goal, man, to go to Pluto. That's the furthest out there. So, of course, whatever's out there, it's going to be the last to be touched, Whatever's out there probably can withstand anything because it's far out there.
Yeah, it's
up there.
It's almost as far as from here to Arizona.
Yeah.
Aliens, do they fascinate you at all, James?
It used to when I was younger, but not anymore. Yeah, I don't really think about aliens too much now.
Okay, so what do you think about in your spare time?
It's not football. It's not family related to family. I try to think about. I'm intrigued by real estate.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to like listen to really just finances in general, like real estate and finances. Just how to work your money and have your money work for you. So I would say that intrigues me.
So do you hunt or fish or do anything like that? I know that's very much a stereotype, but is somewhat popular down south.
Yeah, I like to fish. I wouldn't say I do it a lot, but I definitely want to do it more. I'm just not. None of my friends back home really fish like that, But I met one of my teammates, Corey Cunningham. He fishes. So when we go back to Alabama, I'm gonna go fish with him and probably go hunt with him as well. But yeah, it is pretty stereotypical that you asked that. But it's cool though, because if it.
Hey, look, I'm happy. I'm happy to come over to Alabama in the off season. You can show me what it's actually about, as opposed to the stereotype.
Hey, I'm down with that, man.
Hey,
I appreciate that. You got to be willing to come try it out. I appreciate that.
No, that's cool, man. Hey, the only thing I know about Alabama is probably the Crimson Tide, and I'm sure you're not the biggest fan of them. Is that right?
Yeah, I was kind of turned off from that rivalry between Alabama and Auburn. So
Yeah,
I became a Florida State fan.
Florida State fan. Yeah, there you go. What's funny is when I looked up and was doing my research and I saw Samford, I had to double check. I thought it might have even been like a spelling error, and it was Stanford out there in the Pac-12. So man, you've come from a small school. How have you found that? Has that helped you along the way? Like stay humble, or what's that been like?
So coming from a small school, yeah, I will say it gives you a different perspective. It does humble you a little bit because you're not competing against the best of the best. But I will say, being from a small school, man, those programs at Alabama and Auburn, and just those bigger schools in general, are run a little bit differently than how it might be ran at a D1 AA. Just because you can't really do that because we don't have the resources to be able to do what they do. They have a cafeteria, they have all these nice things in the athletic training room, the weight room and stuff, to where they could be the top tier guy that they are. But we can't really have that at Stanford. So it definitely humbles you. But it also it makes you work hard. So you have hope, you got faith, you have something that you're working towards. You're always trying to get better. You don't get complacent. Being from a small school, I feel like, you always keep, I guess that's that chip on your shoulder they always talk about.
Do you still have the chip on the shoulder? I don't want to go over old ground, but we know, and people out there can certainly find out about how you went through high school and people doubted your speed and you didn't have any sizable offers coming out of high school. Arkansas State didn't work out for you there. You transfer. They told you weren't going to be much at corner. That's a bit of a very shortened version. Do you still carry that chip on your shoulder?
I would say no, I don't care. I don't carry that chip on my shoulder anymore. It's kind of in the past now. But like my mindset now is pretty much it's more like a chess match. It's like me versus this guy on the other side of the ball. Not only him, but his other teammates. He got a slot receiver, he got a quarterback. It's a chess match between us. Also, the running back, they might have a dynamic running back that I might have to face. It's a chess match between all these guys out here on this field. It's a game at the end of the day. So no, I don't carry that chip on my shoulder anymore.
It's sort of not healthy once it gets to a certain point, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's all energy at the end of the day, and you want to make sure you're transferring that energy in the right way.
Definitely. And James, what do you want to achieve moving forward? You're at obviously the prime of your career. What do you want to achieve?
I just want to be a good player at the end of the day. I want to be the best player that I can be. You know, I feel like I can be elite, so I want to be elite. You know, and that's what I want to do. You know, I try not to think too far down the road, to be honest with you. You know, I just try to go week by week, because it's a long season.
It is, and not too long now, but hopefully things work out over the next 5 games for you, James. But I really appreciate you taking the time to join me, and I look forward to teeing something up down there in Alabama.
For sure. I appreciate you having me on, and I definitely enjoyed it. Thank you.